Hello and welcome back. So in the last two lectures, we worked on creating a new course in Firebase database as well as fetching all the courses from Firebase database. Now in this lecture, we are going to work on updating an existing course in Firebase database, and in the next lecture, we will also work on delete functionality. So in this lecture, let's work on update functionality. Let's go to our application, and here for each course, we also have this edit button. So let's say if I want to edit this Angular course, I can click on this edit button. It is going to open that course, and here I can change the title of the course or the description of the course, or I can change the author name or the price of the course. And we can also select a new image for an existing course. And when we click on this update course button, it should update the details in the Firebase database. Let's see how we can do that. So for that, again, let's go back to VS Code, and here we have created this read course effect. In the same way, we are also going to create an update course effect, but that we will do in a bit. First, let's go to CourseService.ts file, and here let me close this course action for now. Okay, and let's also close this add course component.ts for now. Let's go to CourseService.ts file. Here we have created a function for reading the course. Now in the same way, we are going to create another function, and I'll call it as update course. Now inside this update course method, since we want to update a course on the HTTP client instance, we are going to call patch method. Okay, so using patch or put, we can update a resource in the backend. Here, I'm going to use patch method. All right, now to this patch method, first we need to pass the endpoint, the URL endpoint to which we want to make a patch request. For that, again, here I'm going to use environments variable. There we have this Firebase config property, and inside that we have our database URL, right? And what I'll do is I'll wrap it within backticks so that I can use template literal syntax, and I'll wrap this expression inside template literal syntax. And after that, the collection where we want to update a resource is courses collection. And here we also need to use this .json after the collection name. So this is the URL where we want to make a patch request. Let me move it to a separate line to make it more readable. And as the second argument, we need to pass the course object with which we want to update the resource. So that course object, let's say we are going to get it as the parameter. This is going to be of type course. Okay, and here as the second argument, let's pass that course object. Now, if I go to our Firebase database, there you will see that the courses which we are storing, there first we have a key, which is a string value, and for that key, we are storing an object. And in the same way, we need to pass the data from our client. So here what we need to do is, let me go ahead and let me create a variable, and let me call it as maybe course data. Okay, and to create this course data, this is going to be an object. In that object, we are going to extract all the properties from the course object, and here I'm going to wrap it within curly braces like this. And then here what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the ID as the key. So here I'll say course.id. Okay, and then colon, and so this course.id will be the string value. So this is going to be the key. And after that, here we are going to extract all the properties from this course. And inside that, we will also have the ID property, which we want to exclude from this object. So here what I'll do is, instead of using the spread operator like this, and here we will specify the properties. So here we have the title, which we are going to get from course.title. Let me also move it to separate line to make it more readable. Okay. Then I'll specify description property, which is going to be of type course.description. Let me copy this line. Here we are going to specify the author property, which is going to be of type course.author. We are going to specify the price property, which is going to be of type course.price. So we are assigning the price value of the course to this price property. And finally, here I'll also have the image property, and that I'll assign with image property value of this course object. Here in this object, we are not specifying the ID property, and this is the key for this object. So we want to update that course in Firebase database whose ID matches this ID, and we want to replace it with this object. Now here I'm going to pass this course data in the payload. So this is our update course method. Let's save the changes here. Now we also need to create some actions. So now what we will do is we'll go to state.action.ts file. In there, we should already have an action for updating the course. Now this update course we will handle using an effect. And once the update is successful, I'm going to create another action, and I'm going to call it as updateCourseSuccess. And here this action is going to update this course state, and here I'll call it as updateCourseSuccess. Okay, and when this updateCourseSuccess action is dispatched, we want to handle it using the reducer. So let me save the changes in this file. Remember that here I have created two actions: update course, which will be handled by NgRx effect, and update course success, which will be handled by the reducer. Now if we go to the course reducer.ts file, there currently we are handling update course, but now here we are going to handle update course success. And to use it, we also need to import it. And the rest of the logic is going to be same. All right, now from the import, we can remove this update course action from here because we are not handling it using the reducer. Let's save the changes in the reducer. And now let's go ahead and let's create an effect. So just like create course and read course, we are going to create an effect called update course. This is going to store an observable. So I'm using dollar after the name. And to create an effect, we use create effect function. To this, we need to pass a callback function. Inside this callback function, first, we are going to use the pipe operator on the actions observable. And inside this, we are going to use off type to filter the action which we want to handle here. Here, we want to handle update course. And to use it, we need to import it from courses.action file. Once we have filtered the action, again, we are going to use merge map. To this, let's pass a callback function. And this callback function, it is going to receive the payload for the dispatched action. So I'm going to call the parameter as action. In this action, we are going to receive the payload. And from here, what we are going to do is we are going to call the course service. And in that course service, we have a method called update course. And to this, we need to pass the updated course object. So here I'm going to pass action.course. And first of all, let me use the return keyword here because we need to return from here. And here, this update course is also going to return us an observable. So let's return that observable from here. And on this, again, I'm going to call the pipe operator. And inside this pipe operator, I'm going to use map operator to handle the data which this update course is going to return us. Okay, so here we are going to receive some data from this update course. I'm simply going to call it as data. And all we are going to do is from here, we are going to dispatch another action. So for that, I'll simply say return. And here I want to dispatch update course success. And to use it, we need to import it. And when we are dispatching this action, we also need to pass a payload where we want to have a course property. And this course property, I'm going to assign it with action.course because in this action.course, we will have the updated course detail. So I'm going to dispatch it with this update course success action. All right, and if you want to handle error, then just like how we have handled it previously, I'm going to use this catch error operator and I'm going to paste it here. The only thing which I'm going to do here is I'm going to change the message. So here I'll say cannot update the course. Here I'm using a generic error handling, but if you want, you can handle these errors more efficiently. All right, so this is our effect. Let's save the changes. Now here we have an error and it says pipe does not exist on type void. This might be because we might not be returning the observable which this patch method will return. So let me use the return keyword here and that error should be gone. All right, so this is our effect. Now from where we are dispatching the update course action, we are dispatching it from this add course component. So here if you see inside this on create or update course, first we are checking if we are in the edit mode. If we are in the edit mode, we are creating the updated course object like this, and we are dispatching the update course action, and there we are passing this object. Now here what I'm going to do is, let's say if the user has selected a new image for the course. So in that case, I'm going to copy this line from here. So when a new course will be selected, it will be assigned to this selected image property. So here, first, I'm going to upload that image to Firestore and I'm going to get the URL of that image. And then here, what I'm going to do is, I'll say this dot course form dot patch value. And here, I want to patch value for the image property for this image form control, and I'm going to assign it with URL. And this object should come inside parenthesis like this. All right, with this, let's save the changes and let's see if we are able to update the course. Let's go to our application. We do not have any error and application should also have been compiled successfully. Now let's try to update this Node.js course. So here I will click on this update button and here I'll simply remove these lines and here I'll say with GraphQL, just like this. And in the description, let me add something, some more description added. Okay, let's say the author is Jane Smith 2 and let's change the price to maybe 69.99. And for now, I will not select an image. Let's first test if these details are getting updated or not. So let's click on this update course and there's nothing happening here. Let's click on inspect and let's see if we have any error. And you can see we have an error and it says cannot read property of null reading name. And if you see this error we have in course.service.ts line number 18. Let's go to VS Code. Let's go to courseService.ts and let's go to line number 18. So at this line, okay, here what we also need to do is we need to check if this image file exists or not. So if a file is selected, then this image will be assigned with that file. Since we have not selected any image, it will be null. So here first we will check if image is present, then only we will proceed with rest of the logic. Okay, else we are simply going to return empty string. Let's save the changes now. Let's go back to our application and let's try it one more time. Let me refresh the page once. So I can see we have some error. We will look into this error later. But now let me try to update the course again. And here I'll simply remove everything from here. And let's just try with title. So I'll say 2025. And when I click on this update course, so now it says something went wrong, cannot update the course. So something wrong has went here. Let's go to console first. It looks like the error is in the URL. Okay, here it should be backslash. Let's try it one more time. So let's try to edit it. Let me remove this text, and again let's click on this update course, and now you can see the course name has been updated. Okay, but now the image has been removed. If I go to our database and if we expand this Node.js course, they will see that image is now set to empty string. And the reason for that is, if the image is not selected, what we are doing is from here we are returning empty string. So here what I'll do is, let's go to add course component, and there, if I scroll down here, what I'll do is, if you remember, here we have this subscribe to selected course method. In there, if the form is in edit mode and if the selected course is true, we are patching that selected course for this course form. So inside this, what we will do is we'll create a variable and we'll call it as image path. Now here we are going to set this image path to, if the URL is not empty string, in that case we are going to set this image path with that URL. Otherwise we are going to set that image path with this dot course form dot value dot image. Okay, and here I'm going to set this image property with that image path. Now before I dispatch this action, I want to log this update course just to check if it has the image path or not. Let's save the changes. Let's go to our application, and here let's say I want to edit this course. Before that, let me open developer console. Okay, let me clear everything here, and let's try to edit this course. And here I'll add 2025. And now when I click on this update course button, it has logged an object. In that object, if you see, it is storing the image path. But let's say if I select another image, for example, this one, and now when I click on this update course, it should give us a new path. So here, if you see, the file name is angular.jpg. Let me clear this. And now when I click on this update course, and if I expand this, now the file name is demologo.jpg. So now it is working. Okay, so here I'm going to edit this course. And for this, first I'll select an image, this Node.js image. And when I click on this update course button, it should update the course with that image. Okay, we have not dispatched the action. So now I'm going to comment this console.log, and here let's go and let's dispatch the action. Let's try it one more time. So for this Node.js course, we do not have an image. Let's go ahead and let's select the image. Okay, when I click on this open button, that image is selected. Let's click on this update course, and the course has been updated, and for that course the image is updated. Now if I click on this edit button, and let's say I simply change the title, and let's also change the description, and now let's change the price to 69.99. And here I'm not going to select any image. In this case, if I update the course is updated and the price is also updated. Let me also reload the page so that it will fetch the data from the database, and the data which it has fetched from the database, there also it is updated. Let's go here and let's check. So here you can see price has been updated to 69.99. The course title has been updated and the description has also updated. Okay, here you can see some more description. So now the update functionality is also working. This is all I wanted to cover in this lecture. If you have any questions from this lecture, then feel free to ask it. Thank you for listening and have a great day.